Right, so let's get started with this question that we have for our class today. I gave you a line and I gave you 2 points on the line. The first point was over here, and this was -5 and -1/2, and I'm going to write it like this just because the fractions are usually much easier to work with. Then there was another point. This point was 3 minus 3/2. So for x coordinate and for the y coordinate we had -1/2. Oh, sorry, 3/5 was the actual. Okay. Now this is our function f of x. Now where we start, always first y equals mx plus c, always the standard formula, and we say that y can also be written as fx equals mx plus c. Okay, now let's have a look. What are the things that we need? We need to work out y, m, x, c. Those are all the different variables in this. And for our straight line equation, we are going to need m and we're going to need c. Those are the two variables that we need to work out. Okay, so let's see, how are we going to do it? As always, we start with m. I'm going to start with m. Now to work out m, this is called the slope. To work out m, I'm going to choose y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The y coordinate, the second minus the first one, x minus 1. And we said we can choose any one of these two to be number 1 and number 2. I want this one to be number 1 and this is going to be x coordinate number 2. Okay, now that I've chosen my coordinates, this becomes plain mathematics. Remember, when I write the coordinates, it's always the x first and then the y. So the x goes first and then the y goes at the back. So I'm going to take the back number minus the front number for the x ones. 2 minus 1 down. Now another thing that you need to remember is there is a minus between the two, and that minus means that in this case where your x and your y coordinate has already got a minus, this sign is going to change to a plus. Minus and a minus becomes a plus. So let's write it out. For the y coordinates, I'm going to take y2 minus 3/5 minus and then 3/2 minus 3/2. You see what happens here? I have a minus and a minus, two minuses, so this is going to become a plus. Okay, in the next step we're going to change that to a plus. Now let's do the y2 minus 3/5 minus 3/2. Again, minus. Now let's look at the x coordinates. I have a positive 4, so 4 minus 5 minus 5. Okay, right, let's rewrite this, and I see immediately I've got a 5 and a 2 here, so I'm going to choose 10 as my denominator. 5 goes to 10, 5 times 2 is 10, 3 times 2 is 6, and there is a negative. Don't forget your minuses. Again, don't forget your minuses. I have a minus and a minus, going to be a plus, and 2 times 5, 3 times 5. Okay, so there we have, that's 10 below the line. So we have -6 plus 15/10, and now we're going to do the bottom. The bottom was easy. 4 minus -5. A minus and a minus gives us a plus. Don't forget the minuses. I'm going to say that a lot. So 4 plus 5 is 9. Okay, 4 plus 5 is 9, and because this is a whole number, I can put it on 1. What do I have above the line? Minus 6 plus 15. Minus 6 plus 15 gives us minus, or plus, no, plus 9 over 10 divided by 9 over 1. And now I have a fraction divided by a fraction. This line in the middle simply means divide. So we're going to use our mathematics. We're going to say, well, 9 over 10 divided by 9 over 1 is the same as 9 over 10. Multiply, and now I'm going to change this one around. I'm going to flip this one. 1 over 9. And that 9 cancels that 9, and I get that m equals 1 over 10. M equals 1 over 10. Okay, let's check again. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You can also write this as delta y over delta x. Personally, I prefer you use this form over here so that you can really work this out step by step and write down which one you choose as 2, which one you choose as 1, and remember the minuses. Now I have m equals 1/10. So let's put this back in our standard formula. Y equals 1 over 10 x plus c. I want to work out what is the relationship between these two from the information that was given to me. So let's choose this point over here. If y is 3 over 2, negative 3 over 2, if y is negative 3 over 2, then x equals minus 5. Okay, so x equals minus 5. So I'm going to put the x coordinate. I'm going to put the x coordinate where the x is, and I'm going to put the y coordinate where the y is. Again, y goes to y, x goes to x, and now we have one unknown number, one variable over here. This is c. I'm going to work this out. So minus 3 over 2 minus 5. I'm going to multiply at the top, I'm going to multiply at the top. So this is going to be minus 5 over 10 plus c. When you see fractions, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Stop, take a deep breath, and do step by step. Okay, you have to practice these steps. Again, I told you this before many times. Write the things step by step. Okay, let's see. Minus 3 over 2, 5, 10. Again, I have a 2 and a 10. What's the smallest common denominator? That would be 10. But let's move this. I want to send this to this side. How do I do it? This is a minus. It goes over the equation. So minus 3 over 2. The minus comes over. It becomes a plus 5 over 10 equals c. Now I'm going to put this on 10. 2 times 5. 3 times 5, 15. And again, don't forget the minus. Don't forget your minus. So minus 15. Minus 15. 10 times 1, 5 times 1, that is 5. And the plus stay the same. So here I have minus 15 plus 5. Minus 15 plus 5, that is minus 10 over 10 equals c. Minus 10 over 10, that is the same as minus 1. Okay. So what do I have? I have my formula. 1 over 10x which we worked out here. Oh, where was it? Oh, where was it? Ah, over here. Sorry, over here. 1 over 10. So the m goes to the m position. The x is there. And now I know the number of c minus 1. Minus 1. So, and this was, oh my god, what did I do now? Equals. That was an equal sign. Okay, so 1 over 10x minus 1. We can also write this in function notation. Fx equals 1 over 10x minus 1. There is my function notation. Now, in the question in the class, I ask you, determine f of 2. Determine what is f of 2. That was the question. Determine f of 2. So, f of 2, again, let's write it here. Fx was 1 over 10x minus 1. From there. Okay. Now, remember we said that this is the input number. Actually, just this part over here. That's the input number, and this will be the output. So I am putting into the equation the value of 2. Everywhere where I see an x, I'm going to put a 2. That's why we have function notation. So everywhere where I see the x, I'm going to put 2. So let's do that. 1 over 10, and where I see the x, I'm going to put a 2, because we want to know if x is at the point 2. Well, it's going to be somewhere around here. At the point 2, what is going to be the y value? That's what we want to know. So where x is 2 minus 1, stay there. So this is 2 over 10 minus 1. And we're going to put it all on 10. This is going to be 2 minus 10 equals negative 8 over 10. So, there is a point on this graph where if I look at this point on that line, if x is 2, the value of y is going to be minus 8 over 10. And we know that is true. We know it must be true, because where x is 0, y is minus 1. So we know that down here, that's minus 1, and there is minus 8 over 10, less than thing. And that's why we use function notation. Okay, so let's run through the process again. We started off with the gradient or the slope, y2 minus y1. We choose our points, we work it out, we get m is 1 over 10. Then we put this into the equation. We work out c by substituting one of the coordinates back into this equation, and we work out that c was minus 1, and we write this in function notation. Function notation. For the function notation, they ask us what is the value of y. Remember, this is y. What is y going to be if x is 2? So we put in all the x's. 1 over 10 times 2, because they ask us x for 2 minus 1, and we work out, so f of 2, the function value where x is 2 means that y is 8 over 10. And that's it. Okay. I hope this makes sense now.